Tonight, we're going to talk a lot about what's going on in the cosmos. We'll talk about the full moon in Libra. This is also known as the pink moon, and we'll talk about why it's called the pink moon. We'll talk about full moon energy in general, in case this is your first time ever tuning into a moon circle, or your first time starting to learn about the moon. If you're just dipping your toes in the water of learning about the phases of the moon, we'll talk a little bit about full moon energy and what that means. And then talking about the zodiacal influence of Libra with this full moon, why the full moon's in Libra, what that means. We're talking about other planetary alignments as well, especially this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction. And we're going to talk about the Vedic astrology of this moon. Namaste, and welcome to the Follow Your Path podcast. I'm your host, Veena Lenae Rachel. I'm a moon priestess, intuitive, emotional alchemist, and channeler of the divine, and I've been diving into the worlds of the spiritual and metaphysical for over a decade now to self-heal my own trauma, become more emotionally stable, and cultivate my manifestation magic. I am so excited to now be bringing these same tools and techniques to you on this channel. There are a variety of ways for us to work on our higher selves. We can use practices like yoga, meditation, and breath work. We can receive energy work, crystal healing, or pull tarot and oracle cards. We can call on our angels, ancestors, spirit guides, spirit animals, or more. Or maybe we find more alignment with astrology and the moon. I'm going to hold space for it all here on this channel. As you navigate each episode, I hope you find the guidance and wisdom you need to find your own path of self-healing and magic. May you become confident and courageous enough to continue to follow the path that best serves you. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel and trusting me to be a part of your unique journey. It truly is an honor to do this work and be here. Let's dive into today's episode. I'm just going to take a deep breath to get started. I invite you to join me and do the same. Start by finding supportive posture. And when you're ready, maybe a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just kind of loosen up, shake it out, ground in if you need to, connect to gravity. Let's do another one. Deep breath in, out, maybe with a little sound. Like a little sigh, sinking down into this circle. Let's do one more. Maybe you could reach your arms overhead. Inhale and exhale. Welcome to our virtual moon circle honoring the full pink moon in Libra. And I'm your host, Veena Lenae Rachel. If this is the first time that you're tuning in to me, I'm a moon priestess, a channeler of the divine, and intuitive, and I've been hosting these moon circles off and on for several years now. I've been doing them on Facebook for now, but I'm hoping to expand that over to other platforms shortly. And I honor both the full moon and the new moon as best I can. So welcome into the circle. Tonight we're going to talk a lot about what's going on in the cosmos. We'll talk about the full moon in Libra. This is also known as the pink moon, and we'll talk about why it's called the pink moon. We'll talk about full moon energy in general, in case this is your first time ever tuning into a moon circle, or your first time starting to learn about the moon. If you're just dipping your toes in the water of learning about the phases of the moon, we'll talk a little bit about full moon energy and what that means. And then talking about the zodiacal influence of Libra with this full moon, why the full moon's in Libra, what that means. We're talking about other planetary alignments as well, especially this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction. And we're going to talk about the Vedic astrology of this moon. Now, I pulled a tarot reading as well, and I'm just realizing I don't think I have my cards with me. So I'm going to grab those now rather than later before we really open up our circle. Yeah, I'm going to go grab those tarot cards because I also pulled tarot cards for our full moon. So I'll be back in just a few seconds here. Do you have a desire to learn more about the moon? Do you want to know how the moon affects your energy? I have the perfect free event just for you. I made the Moon Magic Masterclass as a way to introduce the basic lunar phases of the moon, the new moon, the half moon, and the full moon, to others that were just starting to dive into learning more about lunar energy. This is for somebody that might know nothing about the moon at all, or maybe you were like me and you just knew that the full moon made people crazy and you needed to learn more. This 3-part masterclass will help you develop a foundational level of knowledge around the moon and give you the basics of what you need to know in case you want to dive in deeper and learn more. This 3-part masterclass will cover the new moon, the half moon, and the full moon, and will help you to understand how the moon moves through a complete lunar cycle and how your energy fluxes and flows along the way. I hope you'll join me for this free masterclass and develop the same love of the moon that I have. You can find out more at veenalenae.com/free moon masterclass. That's veenalenae.com/free moon masterclass. Once you sign up, you'll be taken to some additional pages on my website and you'll receive an email with more information. You'll also receive part 1 of your 3-part masterclass right away. I hope you enjoy learning more about the moon with me. Again, to sign up for this free class, it's veenalenae.com/free moon masterclass. I'll see you there. All right, all wrapped up in pink paper, ready to go. We've got our tarot cards. I've been switching back and forth. I'm in my home office right now, but earlier I did a distant Reiki session from the bedroom. My son's home. It's the holiday weekend, so I'm working a little bit from home, so I'm kind of transitioning back and forth, and my things are all over the place. But you know what? That's Libra energy, that's Aries energy, and that's the energy influencing us right now. So here we are, right in the thick of it, right? So let's talk a little bit about full moon energy and what that means. If you've just started to learn about the moon or you're just diving into this, one of the most familiar phases of the moon is the full moon lunar phase. So what this means is that the moon is opposite the sun right now. So right now we have Earth. If I'm the Earth human, and I represent Earth, we've got the sun over here on one side, we've got the moon on the other side. So the moon is reflecting that solar energy back onto the Earth, and that's why we can see the moon when we look outside. Now, right now here at this time, it's still light outside. By the way, how awesome is that if you're here in North America, that our days are getting longer? Because I remember doing moon circles around this time and it was just pitch dark outside. So right now we can't see it, but once it gets dark, we'll see the full moon. She's going to be shining in all of her glory. It's going to be a lot easier to see outside just with the light of the moon shining down because we have that solar reflection bouncing back to the Earth. Now, anytime we're in this full moon energy, we're also pulled towards the moon gravitationally. So the forces of gravity on Earth are weaker right now than they are normally. And that doesn't mean that you're going to like float away or you're going to feel a lot lighter. You're not going to step on a scale and be like 5 pounds lighter, but you might feel lighter in your body. This is a time when we're pulled towards the moon, we're lifted a little bit farther up. Gravity isn't grounding us in, and that also means energetically we're pulled up. This means we're pulled up more towards our mind, towards our head. We might be overwhelmed with our thoughts. Our thoughts might be overactive right now. We also might be a little bit more heightened in our emotions right now because we're imbalanced, and anytime we're feeling imbalanced, it affects our energy centers and our emotional body. So anytime you're feeling off during a full moon, it's perfectly normal. This is why full moons make us a little bit crazy, or you might know that full moons make people crazy. It's because we're pulled up into our head. We're a little bit more irrational. We're not living out of that grounded state or moving out of our heart as much. It's also a time when we're feeling a little bit more wild and crazy, or a little bit more sociable, because we can see outside at night. That makes us more nocturnal. Now, it's not in our normal rhythms to be awake or active in the nighttime. And anytime we mess with our circadian rhythm, anytime we mess with our sleep cycles, it makes us a little loopy and it makes us a little crazy. So not the best time to be making decisions if you're not getting that rest. Not a good time to be like going for dangerous activities because your balance is off and you could injure yourself. Or, Aries energy is influencing this moon. You might be feeling a little reckless, maybe not go into that reckless energy as much as you want to. Hold yourself back a little bit, like pull back the reins a little bit on your energy right now, just because we're more heightened with this full moon. Amy says the color pink was so in my imagination yesterday. Well, pink can mean a lot of things. Pink is heart energy, and heart energy is deeply influenced with this moon. We're going to talk about that tonight. But yeah, maybe you're just thinking about pink because it every year, this time of year, when the pink moon comes, I see it all over social media. The pink moon, the pink moon, pink moon, pink moon. It's not actually pink. It's called the pink moon because of a Native American naming of that moon. So the Native Americans named all of the full moons different types of moons based on nature. So this is named the pink moon because of the pink phlox that blooms in North America around this time of year. Now, there are other pink wildflowers that tend to grow all over the world this time of year because it's springtime. So this is a time where we start to see more pink flowers, pink blossoms, pink blooms on the trees. And sometimes this moon does fall in eclipse season. It didn't fall into eclipse season this time around. Our next full moon will, but anytime we have a full moon eclipsed, the moon turns more of a rosy red or pink, some sort of a rosy glow. And so that also may be why over time people have said the pink moon, it's going to be pink. But no, I'm sorry to disappoint you. If you look outside, the moon is not going to be pink tonight. It's just a representation of what's going on in nature. Okay, so before we move on, I would like to energetically open up our circle. We've talked a little bit about the full moon and what that means, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about astrology, we're going to talk about energy, but before we do, let's invite in the energy of the 5 elements. And I do this for every circle, and you don't have to have these elements at home. If you don't, it's fine. You're going to receive the energy of these elements through this transmission, through the ether, through our connection, through the interwebs or interspace or the metaverse, whatever you want to call it these days. We're connecting here, so you're going to receive these energies. But I like to work with the 5 elements because we are dealing with nature right now. We're working with the natural cycles of the moon, and our moon is unique to our planet Earth, so it only affects our natural rhythms and cycles. So I want to honor all of the elements involved in this natural human experience. So the first element that I would suggest working with this moon is the element of crystal quartz. So I have several different crystal quartz points here, or this is a crystal quartz generator. You can see that it comes up to a point there, and it's kind of got some geometry going around it, and you can see how it's reflecting right now. It's got a lot of energy. It's one of my favorite. You can see I've used it a lot, kind of worn it down. So I'm just going to point that out to you if you would like to receive some of that crystal quartz energy. I love working with crystal quartz during full moons because crystal quartz helps us to see clearly. It can also charge us up a little bit, or it can take away anything negative. Like I said, sometimes full moons make us a little over emotional, or we might be in our feels, or just feeling a little off, not ourselves. So anything negative that can be pulled out through the use of crystal quartz. And I also have some other crystal quartzes, like this one is it's wrapped in copper. It's just a pendant. Again, it's got some of that sacred geometry about it. It's not as much of a generator. It's just got sacred geometry. There you go. That's a better camera's trying to focus. So I'll point that out to you as well. You can get a little bit of that copper as well. Nothing wrong with that. Purifying copper. Detoxifying copper with detoxifying crystal quartz. And then I have this little bitty one that goes on a pendant. But just a little bitty guy. Crystal quartz. Point. So crystal quartz comes in all shapes and sizes. It's all equally as powerful. Like with this little guy, I might meditate with this on my third eye to help me to see more clearly with my higher consciousness. I might settle with one of these crystal quartzes on my heart to help purify my heart center, pull out any negative energy from my heart. So there's a lot of ways that you can use crystal quartz. You can also just set it in your room next to where you sleep to keep away any negative energy or negative spiritual influence in your dreams. If you feel like you have a negative energetic attachment to you right now, or if you feel like you're being bothered by some sort of spirit or entity, you might have crystal quartz around you to protect your energy or pull that energy away from you, keep it away from you as well. So lots of different ways that you can use crystal quartz. The other element of earth I would suggest using is selenite. So this is just a little selenite wand that I use for most of our moon circles. You can see the reflection of it. I'll bring it in close. Selenite is also known as moonstone. It is water soluble, so you want to be careful about getting it in water. However, crystal quartz you can put in water. You could put this in your bath tonight or put it in your water, but selenite will dissolve, so just be careful with that. Selenite is a master crystal. It's a master healing crystal. It does not need to be charged in order to work. In fact, I could use this to charge my other crystals, to charge myself, to charge you. There's a lot of different ways that we can use selenite, but it also helps to clear our energy. It works with the energy of the moon because it is moonstone. And so just to keep it simple tonight, we're in this Libra moon, and Libra isn't good at making choices. In fact, they can get very overwhelmed with choices. So if I give you a lot of options with crystals, you're going to feel overwhelmed with the choice to make if you're trying to work with one. So just keep it simple, work with clear crystals. I suggest crystal quartz or selenite. Now, the other earth element I always work with is some sort of smudging material. Now, you don't have to use sage. You don't have to use Palo Santo. You could use something like cinnamon sticks, or you could burn dried lavender, dried mint leaves. There's a lot of different options out there. Today, I'm going to be using just some smudge. It's pieces of smudge that have kind of fallen apart. Libra energy is very messy, so is Aries energy, so I thought this was appropriate. This is kind of what I take to homes or spaces when I'm doing energetic cleansing and Reiki in spaces. I use this smudge, so I just thought it'd be good to use tonight. It's kind of messy looking. It's with the theme of the energy, and I'm going to combine this with the element of fire. So anytime I'm going to do one little stick here, kind of get some pointed up. Anytime we combine our smudging material with the element of water, you're going to see in a moment that we're going to start to give off the element of wind or smoke. And smudging is good for purifying our spaces. It's always good to cleanse on a full moon because we are pulled up away from that earthly grounding experience. This is a good time to connect to the air element. It's also a good time to purify our spaces so that we're feeling lighter, letting go of any negative energy that might pull us down. Look at all that smoke when I bring it to you. Now it's interesting because when you smudge, as you pull away, you'll see there's like less smoke. And I've done like 3 energy sessions with people today, so I'm pretty cleansed out already. But then look what happens when I bring it to you. It starts igniting. So clearly my tech needs to be cleansed, and I always cleanse my tech when I'm communicating with you. So I'm going to do that right now, all around and behind. Same thing with my computer. That smells really nice. And I'm going to take this behind. And I'm just using white sage, by the way. I do ethically source my white sage. I know there's a lot of controversy about using white sage. I do have a Native American heritage. I make sure that I source ethically. I make sure that I use every bit of it. As you can see, this at once was a bundle that was tied all together and beautiful. It's fallen apart. I'm still using it because it's still magical and it's still going to work. And so, yeah, I'm just going to bring that to you a little bit longer. Seems like you still need some of that smoke. So go ahead and receive that. See how it's changing the tech here, the ether. Good. So the smoke also helps us to see the other side, right? To see that the veil is thin, that there are other spaces in the realms of the air that we can't necessarily see until we bring in another element, until we perform a little bit of alchemy, right? And right now we have a Pisces influence with this moon, and Pisces is the energy of dreams and illusion, also a time where we connect to the other side. And so this smoke is a representation of what we can connect to if we just let our mind or our eye or our spiritual vision go there to see. So it's finally starting to relax that smoke. So I'm just going to let that sit there and burn out the way that it needs to. We're also going to be working with the element of water, and I typically bring in an essential oil. Tonight, I've decided to work with the oil of ylang-ylang or ylang-ylang, depending on how you pronounce it. I do use oils from doTERRA. Ylang-ylang is the oil of the heart. This is also a harmonizing oil. So this means when you use this oil, if your energy is high frequency, like you're emotionally overwhelmed, you're pulled up into your mind, you're not living out of your heart frequency, it's going to bring you back down to a more heart leveled state. Now, on the flip side, if you're feeling low frequency, if you're feeling angry, depressed, sad, anxious, anything not out of your heart, more in that human, fear-led human experience, this oil will bring you back to the heart where you feel safe. So this is a great oil to harmonize your energy, to unionize masculine and feminine energy for creative work, something we'll talk about tonight. And this is also great to work with your circulation. So again, we're in a time of the full moon affecting us, maybe pulling us up one way or the other. We want to make sure everything is flowing appropriately. So ylang-ylang can be used by just with a little bit of carrier oil. You could rub that right on the heart or your wrist for your pulse points. You could also put it in the diffuser. You could smell it straight from the bottle. It's a very gentle oil. Oh, it smells good. So nice. If you've never smelled it, it smells kind of like those daffodils of springtime too. It kind of smells like babies, like fertility, like I don't know how to describe it. It's a very nurturing, soft, creative oil, and it ignites the sacral chakra. So I'm going to anoint myself really quickly. I'm just going to take a little bit of this to my third eye for what I know, and to my wrist for what I do, and to my ankles for where I go. And of course, you could always anoint yourself anywhere else that you wanted to. And if you don't have this oil, that's okay. It's just a suggestion. You can also work with water by simply bringing water into your circle. So I have a nice stainless glass of purified filtered water here that I'll just be consuming throughout our moon circle. I also have a little bit of lemon, ginger, green tea tonight. So, full moons are about detoxification. We're pulled up to the moon because we need to release the muck of the human experience, or the muck that's weighing down our energy and keeping us away from being in that lighter spiritual self, going with the flow. So anything that you can do to cleanse, purify, or detoxify right now is really useful to do during this full moon, and really any lunar full moons portal as well. So you could drink some green tea if you wanted to connect to that water element as well.
Amy says she's a big fan of ylang-ylang. Yeah, I love it too, and I really like to diffuse it when I practice yoga as well. So if you're a yoga practitioner, you might want to put it in the diffuser or throw it on your pulse points in your heart in your yoga practice, because you kind of like smell it as you move through, and that can be really nice. So I've already mentioned the fifth element, and it's the ether. It's this element that we're communicating with, the internet, the technology that we're using. And I love utilizing the ether in my elemental circle because it transmutes space and time. So even though I'm here in Southeast Iowa and you're wherever you are, you're taking in the energy of these elements I just introduced to you. You're going to feel the energy of this transmission. We're going to do some breath work later, and you're going to feel that energy too. This also withstands time. So of course the replays of this will be up in replicated places, right? On my podcast, on my YouTube, on my website. A replay will stay here as well. And so as those replays go up, more people will tune into the circle. And as more people tune in, we enhance the frequencies of all of these elements, of everything else that comes into the circle tonight. We gain new insight, new wisdom, new knowledge. We'll gain more as the future goes on. So I love working with the ether. It is our fifth element, and these are the elements we're working with in our circle tonight. So I'm also going to call in the guides and guardians of the 5 directions. I'm going to come back into using this selenite wand, and you don't have to use a wand. You don't have to use anything if you don't want to. You could simply make this a meditation or a prayer. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to bring this wand up and around in a clockwise direction, inviting in the energies that serve here, serve from light, serve from higher consciousness. And we'll start by calling in the guides and guardians of the East with their element of air, bringing in deep, fresh breaths with this airy Libra moon, cardinal air energy with this sign. Bringing in the energy of new beginnings, of purification, of breathing away tension and anything else that doesn't serve. We thank the guides and guardians of the East with their element of air for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the South with their element of fire. We are in that fiery Aries sun season, the first sign of spring, a time of transition and fire, a time of purification, a time of transformation, a time of increased light and increased heat, longer days, shorter nights, more activity, more desire to take action. Solar plexus fire starts to strengthen. And that fire of the sun ignites this full moon. And so we thank the guides and guardians of the South with their element of fire for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water. We have a watery Pisces influence with this moon. We love the energy of water because it helps us to go with the flow. Not limited by time, not held back by the past or hindered by our future that we make up in our mind. We learn to float peacefully in the present. We also know the water helps to cleanse us and purify us and wash away what no longer serves. The water also helps us connect to the other side. When we learn to be more fluid, we learn to be more open with our spiritual consciousness, our psychic gifts. And so we thank the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with their element of earth, helping us to ground in through these earth elements, crystal quartz, selenite, helping us to use the earth element of white sage to purify our spaces. We also call on the earth energy of our ancestors for guidance and for the future generations. Although they're not here yet on this earthly realm, they exist on the other side, and we trust in the wisdom that they're passing down to us now as we prepare the new earth for their arrival. We thank the guides and guardians of the north and their element of earth for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the fifth element, the ether, the spirit realm, anything beyond this earthly planet, angels, archangels, deities, cosmic beings, cosmic races, source consciousness, divine masters, ascended masters, the healers protecting us and inspiring us and guiding us from above and from those other sides and those other realms and those other dimensions. We trust in how they speak to us now, and we thank the guides and guardians of the ether for being in our circle tonight. With that, our circle is open and protected and safe, and space is held. And I welcome you here with these guides and guardians. Let's talk a little bit about Libra energy. So why is the full moon in Libra? Well, first off, we have to consider the sun season. Right now, we're in the zodiac sun season of Aries. It's been influencing us since March 20th. We will come out of it April 19th when we shift into the sun season of Taurus. But right now, we're still in that fiery Aries season. And Aries is cardinal fire energy, meaning it's a bit of the fire starter and the fire. If you want to learn more about Aries season, you can go to my website, VeenaLenae.com, and click on Astrology. You can also go to our recording of our new moon circle honoring the new moon in Aries back around the first of the month. All of the replays are everywhere where you can find the replays, pretty much all of my social media outlets, including my podcast. But now the moon isn't aligned with the sun anymore, right? The moon is opposite the sun. So we have to look at whatever zodiac sign is opposite Aries, and that's Libra. Libra is cardinal air, meaning that they are both the breaths of fresh air and the initiator of the peace, to breathe in a peaceful way. And I am a Libra, sun sign Libra, and any Libra sun, moons, or risings will also be influenced right now because of this Libra energy coming in. Libra is the sign of the scales, so she is all about balance, which means that this is a great time to focus on balance. Anytime we're in full moon energy, the moon is illuminating things that we need to focus on, that we need to pay attention to, or that we need to make change and transition around. Remember that the full moon is reflecting the energy of the sun. So we have this fire energy of the sun coming down right now. And fire is always an energy of transformation. Think about when you burn things, they're no longer as they were before, right? Even the smudge that I burned earlier is not the way that it was before. So fire is a great element to work with when you're dealing with transformation. So we have this Libra energy that wants to stay balanced. We've got the full moon shining down on us, making us feel imbalanced. And we have the fire energy of the fiery Aries sun reflecting onto us, saying, hey, use this fire to burn away anything that is pulling you out of energetic alignment. So that means relationships above anything else, energetic exchange. And Libra is also the sign of the scales and the cosmic peacemaker. So you can think about balance in that way. She's always trying to treat everybody fairly. She's all about justice, and she's all about relationships, how we're relating to people. Are we treating each other fairly? Are we living in our collective society peacefully? Are we relating in a peaceful way? So this is a time to analyze your relationships and notice what the full moon is shining light on. And is there anything that you are anything that's coming to light right now that you need to make change around? So maybe you need to burn away an energetic cord with somebody. You could do a little cord cutting meditation or cord cutting ceremony. Maybe you actually need to start shifting your habits or shifting your lifestyle so that you're no longer involved with a certain person, or they're no longer involved in your life anymore. Now, relationships don't have to be with people. It could be with your professional life, with your work, with your career. It could be with food and drink. It could be with addictive substances. It could be with this thing we're communicating on right now, right? Technology, or maybe it's your phone. But any of your relationships right now, you need to really be paying attention to and seeing if any of them are feeling out of balance or they're pulling you out of balance. Now, this is also a time where you can focus on more air energy in the sense of deep breathing, meditation, contemplation, things of the mind. If the mind is going a little crazy right now because of this full moon, this is a time to slow down and organize your thoughts. Balance out your mind, balance out your emotions, balance out your energy so that you're feeling more tethered when earth energy isn't grounding you like usual. So sometimes full moons make us feel really social. Sometimes they make us want to turn within because we're in a Libra moon, which shows both sides of the scales, both opportunities, both potentials, both scenarios. You could be feeling either one. But if you're feeling the need to turn within, I highly suggest you spend time resting, maybe doing some ritualistic bathing or showering, and really spending some time maybe in journaling or meditation so that you can calm your thoughts and ground back in. Now, if you're feeling the need to be more social, now is the time to direct your energy towards the people, places, and things that really set your heart on fire, that really bring you a lot of joy. In addition to this moon being in Libra, we also have an alignment or a cosmic influence of Jupiter and Neptune in conjunction with one another. They're in conjunction in the sign of Pisces. Now, Jupiter is the planet of fun, abundance, expansion, growth, fortune, luck. And then Neptune is the planet of dreams and illusion and the other side. So we have a lot of influence right now to push ourselves towards doing the things that support our dream life, towards being around people, places, and things that bring us more joy. We also have this Pisces influence. Pisces is the cosmic artist or the cosmic creator. She's also the cosmic romantic, the cosmic feeler of feels, so to say. So this is a time when you might be really feeling a need to make change, feeling a need to adjust your relationships, feeling the need to do more that set your heart on fire. And this full moon is giving you the energy that you need to make change and support that. Now, this is also a time when you might be feeling the need to enhance your relationship with yourself. You know, we think so much when we think about relationship, we think about ourself with something in the external or someone in the external. But the truth is, our most important relationship is with ourself. Even in ourselves, we are multifaceted, right? Like we are made up of both masculine and feminine energy. We are made up of both spirit and human self, ego and heart energy. We're made up of all of our past experiences. We're made up of all of our past lives. We're made up of all of our traumatic experiences. We're made up of all of our lucky experiences and fortunate ones. You know, all of this is ingrained in some way into our DNA. And then we also have this astrological influence that makes sort of a star-coded DNA within us. So we have a lot going on just within ourselves, and we have to learn how to manage that relationship with ourselves before we're better able to manage our relationships in the external world. So if this is making you go, oh my gosh, I need to get back to myself right now, or if you're feeling like this full moon in Libra is really shining light on yourself, it is time to be a little bit more selfish. Aries energy influencing us right now. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is a very independent energy. Aries People are very selective about who they interact with. They might actually interact with a lot of people, but who they allow into their close circle, who they trust, who they really befriend is very selective and very low in number. Now, Libras are very energetically open. They're the sign of the scales, both sides, both options. They really like to relate to a lot of people and let a lot of people in. But full moons are halfway through the lunar cycle. This is a check-in point for us to go, let's take a look at all of these relationships and all of these energetic exchanges that we're dealing with right now and everything we're allowing in. Aries is saying, hey, is there some of that you can cut ties with? Or can you maybe set some boundaries? Like, let's set some boundaries so you're more focused. Or, hey, maybe some of these people aren't really serving your higher power. If you really want to grow and evolve right now, you're going to have to make some changes with some of these relationships in your life. So this is the energy influencing us right now, not only with the moon, but this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. Now, we also have the influence of creativity. I mentioned that Pisces is the cosmic creative or the cosmic artist. We also have Venus in Pisces. Venus is the planet of love and relationship. So I mentioned that you might want to be working with ylang-ylang essential oil to fuel your creative energy. Ylang-ylang harmonizes our masculine and feminine sides. And anytime we harmonize our energy, we're more prone to conception, creativity. We get a little turned on for our passions and our hobbies, just like we do when male and female energy comes together in the human body in a passionate way. So your sacral chakra can be really ignited right now because that's where creativity lies. That's where conception lies, not only for a human being, but for whatever you're wanting to bring into this world, your dreams, your passions, your heart desires. And the sacral chakra is energetically our internal moon. And hello, full moon energy is rocking our internal waters, our internal emotions, making us feel a little crazy. So we're in that wild sacral creative energy right now. If you're feeling inspired to draw, to paint, to write, to create a song, to move your body in a fluid way, to paint that wall, to redecorate that room, to change your image, to color your hair, to change up your wardrobe, anything that involves creativity right now is probably something that you're going to want to focus on. Just for fun factor, Venus is the planet of passions, hobbies, things that just make us feel good, things that turn us on. And so anything you want to do that just makes you feel good, you should do it right now. I have a vendor event coming up next weekend for all of my Sacred Bath Botanica products. And so I'm getting everything ready for that. And I've been feeling really fueled to use my creative energy. So I made 40 bubble bars today, and they're in all different colors and all different scents. By the way, aromatherapy works with the element of air. So you're smelling, right? You're breathing it in. So anything to do with scent right now might be really turning you on as well. You might want to work with aromatherapy, but anything with color, because Venus is that artist and she likes to bring in a lot of art, artistic expression and a lot of color. Libra is ruled by Venus. So we get a double influence with Venus right now. And Libras love color and rainbow and all sorts of options, right? They don't like black and white. They like to keep their options open. So using a lot of color in your life right now can be really fun and can also fuel your creative energy for other things. I recently had a client come to me and they said, I'm just feeling a little stuck. I know that there's something that's trying to come through. And even in our Reiki session, I said, there's something that you're very passionate about that you're trying to bring through and it's just kind of stuck. And she said, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it is. So she feels this spark of fire within, that she wants to create something, that she knows there's another path for her, that she knows it's something that she needs to craft or make or get artistic with. She can't quite put her finger on it. So I said, hey, just get creative for no reason at all. Like, go get in a coloring book or go play with your kids and use your imagination, but get creative, because anytime we just let creative energy flow, even if it's just moving our body in a creative way, letting go of restrictions, it helps other things to move through as well, that can actually be our gifts, the things that we can actually like craft and bring into the world to support us and continue to support our abundance and our fortune and our fun factor. And anytime you're having a dream that you want to create something for a living, craft something for a living, do your art for a living, now is the time to be really putting your energy towards it, because all of the cosmos is pushing you to do that and is saying like, hey, you're going to be supported now, even if you weren't supported before. So that's a lot. We've said a lot already. I'm going to take a quick little drink here, and then we're going to move on and talk about the Vedic side of this moon, the Vedic influence of this moon.
Does the full moon make you crazy and you want to understand more? Do you want to dive deeper into the lunar phases and how they affect your energy? Do you want to learn how to align with the moon and use it to reach your goals and manifest your dreams? If this is the case for you, I would highly suggest checking out my program, Moon Magic. This is an online program that takes you through a complete lunar cycle. So from new moon through the first quarter moon, through the full moon and the last quarter moon. And it's going to explain how each of these lunar phases affects your energy. When you understand how lunar energy affects you, you also learn how to better align to stick to your habits and reach your goals. This is something that I have been doing for nearly a decade now, and I can tell you that working with the moon has fast-tracked my ability to make my dreams come true. It also helped me to develop a deeper go-with-the-flow feeling when it came to handling the outer world. Once I started to understand how lunar energy affected the collective, I started to understand that not everything was my fault, and I also didn't take things so personally when people reacted or acted in a certain way. Basically, when I learned to align myself with the moon and understand the different phases of lunar energy, I started to understand myself and my life. I also found a path to navigate this modern day world with more understanding and peace. So if you've been curious about more than just the full moon and why it makes people crazy, this is where you start. You'll go on this whole lunar cycle with me, and once you come through on the other side with a new moon, I'm hoping that you will have gained the knowledge and wisdom you need to navigate this modern day world a little bit more effectively. To find out more about this program, you can go to veenalenae.com/moonmagic. That's veenalenae.com/moon, MAGICK. That's magic with a K. And you can read more about the program there. You can read all about the program content as well as my own personal journey with the moon. For tuning into this episode today, I'm going to give you a discount on the program. Listeners can receive 13% off by entering the code PODCASTMOON at the checkout. That's 13% off for 13 moons in a moon calendar year. So if you want to save 13% on Moon Magic, go to veenalenae.com/MOONMAGICK and enter the code PODCASTMOON at checkout.
So I always say before I talk about Vedic astrology is that I am no expert in Vedic astrology, but when I traveled to India about 4.5 years ago, I became very interested in it because it seems to align with the energy of Western astrology. Western astrology is something I've been interested in my entire life. I've been heavily working with astrology for about the past 9 to 10 years. So Vedic stuff only a few years now, but I still like to talk about it because it brings in some extra insight. You might get some additional just like aha moments out of it, or it might help you understand the energy of this moon a little bit better right now. So the full moon in Vedic astrology is in Chitra Nakshatra, and Chitra Nakshatra is known as the star of opportunity. So this is represented by a grand jewel or even a diamond. And by the way, that's another reason why I wanted us to work with crystal quartz tonight, because it looks like a diamond. You can see there, we've got this diamond shape, and there are even crystal quartz diamonds or Herkimer diamonds, and there's a lot of different quartz diamonds that you can work with. You could work with cubic zirconia. You can work with real diamonds. I have my real diamonds on tonight from my wedding ring. So lots of different options, but this Chitra Nakshatra, this represents the energy of a diamond or something beautiful that's been formed under immense pressure. I just have to write myself a little note so I don't forget to talk about one more thing tonight, and I know I'll forget if I don't write it down right now. Sorry, multitasking. Okay, so anytime we're in this energy of the diamond, we're thinking about the beautiful things that we did create over an immense amount of pressure. And boy, have the past few years been a lot of pressure, right? And I think sometimes when we come back around, like we're coming around to the 2-year anniversary of the pandemic, and we might be thinking, oh boy, like what does this summer have to hold? Or here we go again, or like is history going to repeat itself? You know, there's a lot of turmoil and tension and pressure in the world right now with the war going on. But regardless, we can look back over the past 2 years with everything that caused us to do things differently and ask ourselves, what did we create? Maybe it was just a stronger marriage or a stronger relationship to self or a stronger spiritual practice. Maybe you did actually craft or create a business, or you cultivated more interest in a hobby. I know that my Sacred Bath Botanica business came out of 2020. I launched it in November 2020 during eclipse season because I felt like I couldn't do anything else. My yoga studio was closed, so I had to figure out a way to make income, and I got inspired to do that. But when we're under an immense amount of pressure, we find alternatives. We become a little bit more adaptable, moldable, more open to possibility. And this Libra full moon combined with this Chitra Nakshatra influence is asking us to go with the flow, to be more open, to know that even in times when the scales feel tipped, when things feel imbalanced, we still have the opportunity to take back control and create something out of the alignment and create something more beautiful with it as well. And this is also a time to think about how you've become more beautiful with your own energy, how you've become like more of a higher frequency, or you've evolved or you've up leveled over the past couple of years of all of this pressure that you've gone through. You know, has that made you shine a little bit brighter? Has that made you have a little bit different of a perspective on life? I know for me, certainly I've had my heart chakra open, and I found more gratitude, and I've learned to kind of be more adaptable and go with the flow and be a little lighter and be a little brighter and kind of give people a smile and pass on that good energy, because we can all use it. Now I'm doing Thai yoga bodywork, giving people this healing, positive, loving touch. But you know, us learning to shine brighter like the diamond in the immense amount of pressure is important, right? Because everything we do on the internal reflects on the external. It's the Hermetic principles, right? As within, so without. As without, so within. So if you're feeling like you're under pressure, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling tension, if you're feeling called to shift your energy right now, grab the reins, take back control, and ask yourself how you can create out of this immense amount of stress. Maybe you just cultivate more gratitude. Maybe you just cultivate more presence in the present moment, or more self-awareness. It all starts to layer up from there, but you have to take the time first to consider the positive aspects of things rather than the negative aspects of things. Now, Chitra Nakshatra is ruled by Vishvakarma. Vishvakarma is an ancient god or ancient deity that's kind of known as the architect of the gods. And when I was thinking about this today, I thought a little bit about the Matrix, right? Like, where there's a lot of talk about the Matrix right now, and we're in this 3D Matrix, but we're moving into this 5D reality, and we're kind of busting out of the Matrix and the red pill, blue pill, and all of that. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's cool. Maybe go watch The Matrix this weekend. Libra energy is all about intellect and contemplation. Put on a good documentary, or put on a film that really makes you think. Inception's a good one too, if you're just like needing a movie to think about things. What are some others? There's another one. Oh, Memento is another one that makes you kind of like think about things. But yeah, with the Matrix, they bring in the concept of the architect. And the architect is kind of the one that designs the reality that all of these humans are interacting in the Matrix world. And so we can think about Vishvakarma being kind of that architect of our reality, or of our universe. He deals with the Maya, the material of the earthly realm. And Maya, another word for Maya is illusion. So thinking about how everything in this earthly material realm really is an illusion. Like, we know, like, this is a solid substance. I can't move my fingers through this right now. But if we broke this down on a super microscopic level, we would see that this is just a bunch of little particles moving around, and there's actually space in between there. I just can't get in there for some reason because of the limitations of this earthly realm and my mind. But if we start to think about the possibilities, right? If we start to think about, sorry, kind of like trying to get my words right. If we started to think about how we are co-creators of our reality, that although we have this architect of the gods influencing our earth, making up our earthly realms, making up this holographic experience, we know that that deity or that energy is of source energy and source consciousness. And we also know that we are of source energy and source consciousness. So we have the ability to connect to that architectural energy. We can tap in to the co-creative matrix. Even in times of stress, tension, pressure, keep getting creative, keep doing the things that make you happy, and pretty soon you're going to create some beautiful things even out of those times of chaos. Speaking of chaos, for some reason my recording stopped, so I'm not sure how much I missed for my podcast. So I'm not sure. Man, bummer. Are we still recording? Don't even know. True Libra Aries fashion here. So that's the Vedic side of things, if you were curious about what's going on the eastern side of the world compared to the western side of the world. But no matter how you look at it, this is a time for us to open up to new possibilities, to get a little bit more artistic and creative, to do the things that make us happy and kind of harmonize our energy and really fuel ourselves and our lives out of our heart space. Our heart is where all of our energy meridians stem out of. So we really want to focus on our heart energy right now and what sets our heart on fire. So I'd like us to do a breathwork practice, and then we're going to do our tarot reading, and then we'll wrap up our circle. I want to offer you two types of breathwork tonight. The first one is known as equal thoughts breathwork, or Sama Vritti Pranayama. Sama means equal, vritti means tornadic thoughts, pranayama means breath work. The vrittis are these thoughts that whirl around in our mind. Sometimes it's referred to as the monkey mind. But when we're in lunar energy, when we're in full moon energy, when we're in an airy Libra full moon, we're really pulled into our head. We're pulled into our thoughts. We're thinking about a lot of things. We're analyzing a lot of things. And it's a good time to just slow all of that down. So, how do we do that? Well, we focus on our breath and we focus on balancing our breath. We focus on balancing our inhales and our exhales. So let's try this together wherever you are. Maybe find your posture again if you were slouching or rounding. Get your shoulders over your hips, sit tall. You're going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, relax, and then breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Just relax. So we're breathing into both top and bottom. Anytime we're in full moon energy, we have heightened prana. Prana is the energy of our inhale. So anytime we're in more of an inhale with the breath, we tend to hyperventilate or breathe into the chest, which makes us feel more stressed. When we breathe into the lower regions of our body, our belly, our hips, that's a more natural breath. That makes us feel relaxed. So when we learn to balance the two, we can learn to relax our stress levels and our frequency and come back to that heart space right at equilibrium. This is also a great breath to calm our mind because we're focusing on balancing the breath. Now, you don't have to count to 4. You can do any count as long as it's the same on both sides, or you can let go of the count and just feel out like intensity of the breath on both sides, depth of the breath on both sides. There's other ways to think about balance with the breath, but anyway you're thinking about it, you're not thinking of anything else. Our mind is not going to multitask on multiple thoughts. So this gives you an opportunity to bring everything back into one place and calm yourself down. Now, the other breathwork practice I want to offer you tonight with this Libra full moon is alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to take your dominant hand and you're going to make a little hang 10 sign here. You're going to start with your thumb and plug your nostril, breathe in through the open nostril, close that off with your pinky, and then open up through the thumb side and breathe out. Now that thumb side stays clear as you inhale and breathe back into it. Close it off with your thumb, open up your pinky, and breathe out through pinky side. Again, that pinky side stays open. We inhale into it, we close it off with the pinky, open up through the thumb, and exhale out. We breathe back in through that right nostril, whatever nostril, close it with the thumb, open up the pinky, breathe out. Keep going. Breathe in through the pinky side, close it off. Breathe out through thumb side, stay open. Breathe in through thumb side, close it off. Breathe out through pinky side, stay open. Breathe back in through pinky side, close it off. Breathe out through thumb side, stay open. Breathe back in through thumb side, close it off. Breathe out through pinky side. Let's take a deep breath in, deep breath out. So that one might open up your sinuses a little bit. Great for this time of year if you're dealing with seasonal allergies. This also harmonizes our mind. We can't think of anything else because we're thinking about our thumb and our pinky and what nostril we're breathing in. But this harmonizes our energy as well. We're bringing in the left-right brain, pressure on both sides of our face, breathing in and out of both sides of our face, both nostrils. So we're harmonizing our energy, and anytime we do that, we harmonize our mind, we harmonize our emotions, we feel more peaceful. Now, one more bonus when you're practicing that alternate nostril breathing, you can also take a finger, or I like to take all 3 fingers, and you can take those to your third eye, and then you just alternate back and forth from there using your thumb and finger just the same. So anytime we put a little pressure on the third eye area, that's where your vagus nerve starts, and your vagus nerve helps you to relax. So you could add in that bonus as well if you wanted to. We're going to move on to our tarot reading for this full moon. But I'm going to take a deep breath first just to ground in. And I'm calling on the energy of the cards to bring us the messages that we need to see and hear and receive. Thank you for bringing these messages through. Thank you for helping us to receive the messages in an alternative way. Thank you for the confirmation that the cards give us, because we know the cards do not lie. We thank the tarot cards in this reading for being in our circle tonight. So I started with a past card as usual, and I pulled the Judgment card, but I pulled it in reverse. So number 22, obviously, we're already almost 5 months into, or 4.5 months into 2022. So this is from the past. We also have this angel of time blowing a trumpet before a new world begins. And we're kind of in that space, right? We're still in the unexpected, the future. We're not really sure what's going to happen, but it's a new earth, it's a new world, it's a new normal now, and we're preparing for it. Now, anytime the Judgment card is in reverse, we're being asked to let go of judgments. Full moons are a time to release. We're already released from the earth a little bit because we're lighter. We're also needing to release from the earthly human experience of victimizing, of victim story, of our ego-fueled way of living. We have to stop judging ourselves. We have to stop judging past mistakes, judging any interactions that we had with people. You know, everything that we go through is an opportunity to learn. It's a teachable lesson. And so we can look at it with remorse, with regret, and with that, we're going to be given the same karmic lesson over to repeat. Or we can look back at it with gratitude and with grace and say, I'm going to emotionally alchemize how I feel about this. I'm a new person now. This is a new world I'm living in. I'm not going to think about all of these things that I did in my past when I was a different person on a lower evolution. I'm going to let that go now. So the Judgment card arrives in reverse into our reading tonight to say, hey, with this full moon in Libra, you can truly let go of the judgments that you have on yourself. You're a new person now. You have a new understanding now. And you should also feel this way about anybody else. Everybody's only operating out of their level of understanding and evolution. And so we're going to let go of judgments, both on the external and within ourselves. For the present card, I pulled another reversed card. I pulled the King of Cups. So anytime we pull cups, this is a sign of our sacral chakra. This is a sign of emotional processing. When we're reversing the King of Cups, we're struggling right now to emotionally process. Things are feeling a little stuck. And I have no doubt, because we have this Libra energy, which isn't very good at making choice, which doesn't like to disrupt the waters or stir the pot, doesn't like to cause any conflict or disrupt the peace. So if you're feeling like you're holding yourself back from processing in a particular way, now is the time to kind of let go of that. Let the floodgates open and let everything process the way that it needs to. Cups are also a sign of us leaning into addictions. So I mentioned that the sacral chakra is where you have pleasure, things that make you feel good, and that could mean addictive substances. Aries energy influencing this full moon right now also tends to lean towards addictive substances. They're a very independent energy. Sometimes they think that they're in control and that they can handle things and they can handle their limits, when unfortunately they can't always do that. So when we have the King of Cups in reverse, especially in the present card, we're being guided to, hey, take control of things. If you're feeling like you're leaning into addiction right now to maybe numb out from your emotions, let's stop that. Let's make change. Let's pull back the reins and let's do other things that make us feel good, that are healthy, that also help us emotionally process. So maybe we get creative, maybe we get artistic, maybe we move our body in a fluid way, but find ways to process the emotion so you're not numbing it with some other addictive substance that could really pull you under right now. Now, also remember that with this cup energy, Neptune and Jupiter are in conjunction with Pisces right now, and Venus is in Pisces. Pisces really makes us feel our emotions. So you might be extra emotional right now. You have to find healthy ways and techniques to move all of that energy through and keep your energy flowing. Now, for the future card, I got something upright, which is good. And even better, I got the Ace of Wands, which is great. Anytime we have the Ace of Wands, this is a symbol of new beginnings. Wands are a sign of magic. We are being called to follow our heart, this green energy. We are being called to do what makes us happy, our solar plexus. And we're being told to trust our magic, our psychic gifts, our gifts of crafting and creating. We're in a new world. We're in a new earth. We're in the age of Aquarius. It's a very magical time for us to believe in ourselves and what we have to offer to this world, even if it's a little unique and a little different. This number 1 represents new things, new ways of living, new ways of earning a living, new ways of supporting yourself, and new ways of living out your magic. So if you've been holding your magic back, if you've been holding it within, now is the time to make choices to empower yourself to bring that energy into the external world. Now, typically I pull 3 cards for a reading, but in pure Libra fashion, I needed 4 cards. I needed an even number today. And we have eclipse season coming up with our next moon, not only our full moon, but our new moon. So with our upcoming eclipse season, I asked the cards to give us a little bit of guidance. And I did pull another reverse card, but this time it's the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, sorry, it'll be like this, upside down, so it looks like he's right side up. But that's kind of like what eclipses are about. They're about things coming up from the surface, things coming back around again, experiences that we've already been through, people coming up from our past, lessons that we thought we had already learned. Now we're learning them again. So it's a spiritual growth opportunity when we move through eclipse portals. Now the Hanged Man is always a symbol of us waiting around for results. So anything that you don't make change with this full moon and this lunar cycle, it's going to kind of stick around for you to deal with for the long term. This card is represented by 12, so this is 12 months, a full year. There's going to be a lot that may stick around for a long time if you don't deal with it right away. Anytime we pull the Hanged Man in reversed, we're also being told that we need to make choices. Libras are not good at making decisions, and full moons illuminate some of our shadow side sometimes. So if you're struggling to make an important decision right now, you need to make it. You need to trust your intuition, follow your heart. We've got all this green energy again, right? You need to really trust from the internal what the decision is, and you need to let go of the ego and the external influence. Now, this is also a symbol of us being attached a little bit more to the earthly material realms. So if you're finding that you have an imbalanced energetic relationship, if you're dealing with that right now in the earthly world or with earthly material things, now is the time to become more aware of that, maybe make adjustments accordingly. And also moving into this eclipse season, it's a Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle, and Taurus has to do with like earthly material things, luxury, the earthly human experience, Mother Earth energy. So you want to be careful that you're not making too many choices with the material world that are distracting you from your spiritual self and from the spiritual world. Make sure that you have the proper balance between the material and between the spiritual, so that you're not pulled more into your ego and you're not paying attention to your next evolution, where things of the material are more of an illusion. So use this moon to get creative, to sever ties if you need to get back to your relationship with yourself. Getting comments at the card reading makes a whole lot of sense. Great. So I'm going to grab my selenite wand again. I'm going to take that up and around in a counterclockwise direction to release energy, bringing it all back down again. And I'm going to start by releasing the guides and guardians of the fifth element, the ether, the spirit realm. Any entities that were here with us tonight to give us more guidance. We thank you for those signs and symbols that you give us, for the way that you reach out to us in dreams and other meditative Zen-like states. We trust in what we receive. We know that it's guidance for this earthly realm and this earthly human experience. And we thank the guides and guardians of the fifth element, the ether, the spirit realm, for being in our circle tonight. We also thank the guides and guardians of the north with their element of earth. The generations coming ahead of us, the generations before us, our ancestors, all of the earthly elements, the crystals, the smudging elements, the fire we create with just the perfect alchemy of atmosphere here on earth. We thank you for these earthly elements that keep us grounded. And we thank the guides and guardians of the north with their earth element for being in our circle tonight. We also thank the guides and guardians of the west with their element of water, washing and purifying what no longer serves, helping us to go with the flow of time, helping us to release with the ease of water, to be fluid, and helping us to tap into our creativity. We thank the guides and guardians of the west with their element of water for being in our circle tonight. We also thank the guides and guardians of the south with their element of fire, fiery Aries energy influencing this fiery full moon. We use this energetic fire to burn away what no longer serves, to burn away energetic cords or relationships that we need to. We also use the heat to transform ourselves and up-level into our next evolution. We thank the guides and guardians of the south with their element of fire for being in our circle tonight. And finally, we thank the guides and guardians of the east with their element of air, bringing us contemplation, more intellect, more time to think about things, bringing us time to slow down and meditate and rest and dream, helping us to connect to the other side in our mind and our spiritual consciousness. And also thanking that element of air for deep, deep breaths, helping us to find more peace with our breath work. We thank the guides and guardians of the east with their element of air for being in our circle tonight. So with that, our circle is closed and sealed and complete. I thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for tuning in amongst the distractions of the busy road that I live on tonight during this full moon. Thank you for listening to yourself and the messages that are coming through right now. Really strong energy to be listening to what comes through on the internal right now, taking time for that. Make sure you take time for yourself and to tune within. So our next full moon circle will be honoring that eclipsed full moon in Scorpio. That will be on Sunday, May 15th at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Veena Lenae Facebook page. As usual, the recordings will be up all over wherever the replays are. And then we will also have our new moon circle. So we do new moon circles as well. I will be traveling on the day of the new moon on April 30th. So we're going to get together April 29th instead. So I will see you hopefully Friday, April 29th. We'll be honoring the eclipsed new moon in Taurus. We'll also talk about Taurus season in general. And I can't wait to tune in with you again. So feel free to reach out to me on social media, communicate with me there, get on my email list. I send out emails about the new moon and the full moon and other things as well that are going on in my world. And Amy, the Scorpio, says awesome as she looks forward to the Scorpio full moon a month from now. I love it. We'll get into the magical and the woo. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sending you blessings on this full moon. Get out underneath it. Get your water out, charge your water for purification and spiritual bathing or any sort of ceremonial practices. Charge up your moon water with this full moon. Charge up your crystals, anything else that you need to charge. You can even charge up your selenite, give it a little boost. But just know that when we get into that eclipsed full moon next month, it won't be the time to do any of that charging. So you want to take advantage of it now. So get out and howl at the moon tonight and get that air energy moving through. And I will see you next time for our new moon in Taurus. Until we meet again, may we all be so happy with Jupiter's influence right now. May we be healthy and well and taking care of ourselves, knowing that when we're energetically aligned, we're physically aligned and well. May we all feel safe and peaceful with this Libra moon. May we find more harmony, more union, more peace, and may we all feel so loved, especially with this Venus influence. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Until next time, namaste.
I hope today's message served you. If you enjoy the Follow Your Path podcast, I would love for you to leave a review. As a thank you, every month I do a drawing from the reviews and I choose one person to win a free 1-hour, one-on-one soul coaching session with me. This can be done in person or online depending on where you are. I also feature reviews on my website and social media, so thank you for the feedback and the testimonials. It truly is an honor to be here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to meeting with you again in the next episode.